And welcome everybody. This edition of Prosser and Spaulding. This is our update. This is number 86, right, Doc? Yeah, update 86. We're doing, Doc, this past TV show and this coming TV show is on my new booklet. It's going to be very exciting for folks.
It's all about the facts.
The fact of fallen angels flying around in the sky.
Yeah.
Right? No, the UFOs, truth or fable. And my wife did this cover. This cover is really something. And so we're talking about that this week, but that's not what we're going to talk about in this update. But so YouTube number 85 and 86 was on the topic of this UFOs, so you'll want to watch those if you haven't already. And Doc, what I would like to discuss for a minute here is the coming economic collapse of the world. And
they're working at it very hard. They're feverishly working at it, the elites.
People have been talking about this for years.
But it's
I remember when they said we couldn't handle 10 trillion debt or 20 trillion. Well, my goodness, it's past.
We don't even know where it really is.
Yeah. So it's got to unravel. And it looks like maybe the people that I'm listening to all seem to think that it's here. We can't sustain this.
No, it's all but upon us, it appears.
The WEF, Santa
well, you're
Claus.
already hearing through news media now. You're even hearing the upper echelon of people, the feds, talking about designing the new Fed coin, and you're hearing these things from people that once were silent on it.
Yeah.
That means what we're hearing is something that's about probably 6 months or a year behind what's really already done.
Now, I heard a program recently, Glenn Beck.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody I respect what he says.
Yes.
He was talking about the financial collapse, and he gave some pretty
scary stuff. Yes.
And in fact, his prediction was, and he's pretty bold to come out, because a year from now, if your predictions in the past, it kind of makes you look bad. But I think it's Stu, whoever was on the show with them. He said, well, when do you think this is going to happen? And he said, I believe before or right after the midterm election. Mm-hmm. Either right before or after. And
I'm expecting a lot of things before.
And his partner said, you mean that soon? He said, I believe it could happen tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So he gave some things. In fact, I think the name of the show was 10 ways to protect yourself or something. Mm-hmm. He gave some things to protect yourself from the collapse that's coming. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the verse that I quote so often in Proverbs: the prudent man seeth the evil coming afar off and hideth himself. That can apply to all areas of life. Yeah. A storm, an army coming, the police coming, the bad guy, you see the puff of smoke, and hey, I think they're on. I think they're headed here. Yeah. The sooner we get a warning, the more time we had to prepare.
And all of the indicators of a collapse are out there. I mean, you can't keep building such a debt, and we're not the only ones. I mean, China and Russia and everybody else in the world is in the same predicament or worse off than we are.
I have believed this for a long time. And I can't promise that I'm right, but I have said for years that one of the carrots the Antichrist will offer the world to join him will be world debt forgiveness.
Yeah. Well, he's
reset.
He's going to cause craft to prosper. He's going to be evidently a financial guru in some sense, or seem to be.
Or be around the right people
that's the thing. You don't have to be the person, but connected with the people.
And when you get into the mark of the beast system, it's designed.
It's definitely an economic system.
What a way to forgive all debt and put an account balance in there for everybody. And
and if I gave you $10,000 free money up front, sign me up.
Hey, where do I sign?
It won't be a problem to get people to sign up.
They offer people free cell phones to vote.
Yeah. Well, but yes. No, all of the indicators on the global stage is.
We probably should do something in the future about, how can you prepare? I mean, sometimes I just say, well, I'm not sure you can.
Well, number one, as a Christian, be prepared that you're born again, but then as a believer, understand, David said, I've seen the was young and now I'm old, but I've never seen the righteous
begging
for bread.
yeah.
And God's going to take care of us, but at the same time, God expects us.
We lock our door at night.
Yeah,
Yes, God's going to take care of us.
and God
but
expects us to
yeah.
plan. He said to be wise as serpents, as harmless as doves, and we go to the ant, old sluggard, and consider her ways. Well, what's the ant do? Hey, in the good season, it stores up for the bad season, and so there are certain things from that.
We need to be out of debt. Of course,
Yes.
it's probably too late for a lot of people if this thing's around the corner.
Yeah.
Debt can really snowball and kill you in
Yes.
a depression like that.
Yes.
Because what debt does, it means you start to lose what you
You
have.
lose whatever you have.
You can
Yes.
lose your home. You can lose your car. I mean, your livelihood there. So if you're debt free, you're ahead of the game.
That's
But you still got to
definitely a
eat.
plus.
You still got to pay your light bill. You still got to have food.
And the majority of the people in America wouldn't even know how to grow a garden, let alone how to survive without.
My wife back there is my gardener. So
Yeah, we build.
We've come over and
We
picked
have
some
big
of your
gardens.
crop
Oh
over
yeah, I
here.
always have big gardens, and I'm preparing right now to build greenhouses, so we'll have full growing time. So, but anyway, yeah. No, the economic system of the world is. Hey, this thing in Russia. This could be something that would throw, or if China invades Taiwan, these are kind of things that could throw the whole economic system that's so fragile now into a collapse. And of course, the
So what's some practical?
European Union, they're waiting, they're ready for it.
So these are some practical things. Learn how to grow a garden.
Yeah.
Everybody ought to, if you can, if you have a patch of ground.
You don't need
Put
as much
some-
of a ground.
Put some green beans out there.
Get on the internet, and I'm here to tell you, you can find people that are growing almost all the food they eat in their backyards.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a great. I'm blessed to own a farm that my dad bought and I grew up on. My family have farms. I'm blessed to have plenty of land.
Now they say this, Doc. They say that when it happens, if you have money in the bank, it will be frozen.
Yeah,
So don't
I keep cash on hand.
Where is that? Is that in your office over there?
On
Doc?
hand.
We ought to have I've been saying this for years. Everyone ought to have a fireproof safe somewhere hidden, and you ought to have some cash in there. I really think everyone ought to have some silver or gold.
And I have mine's silver plated. Is that the kind of silver you're
No,
talking?
that's not.
Oh, that's not what.
That's
I'm
not
talking about.
going to do the job. Doc.
Oh, okay. Well, some of the shit.
I like
anyway.
I like coins the best. I like silver eagles. Gold's more expensive. You can buy a lot of silver.
Oh yeah.
And I think
not
there's a
hard to
good
put
chance
silver
silver could go up in more multiples than gold.
But at the same time, when this all happens, even though that's a monetary thing that you can have, let's say I had a block of gold, how am I going to trade it with all my neighbors that don't have any? So.
And that's why, of course, the block of gold is still worth money. But
Sure.
a silver dollar or the walking liberties and all that.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what it is. Yes, there's some that are counterfeit, but for the most part, most of them are pretty simple to figure out. It'll be pretty easy to go down to your local store downtown, not Walmart, but your local grocery.
Well, that's why they're doing everything they can to run the mom and pops out of business. That's what Amazon's all about.
Yeah, everybody knows the intrinsic value of a silver dollar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look through your Bible and you look through all of history, and there was always some kind of coinage.
Yeah, gold and silver.
And most of it was based on silver.
Yeah, so they ought to have some cash and some silver or gold, whichever you prefer. But like I say, my thing is, what do you do with a gold bar? If you want to go buy a loaf of bread, you can't go buy a loaf of bread with a gold bar.
Can I pinch you off? Can I pinch you off a piece?
Yeah. So the silver coins, I've got quarters. I've got hundreds of quarters, silver quarter. Now you got to be 1964 or older. Boy, look what you could do with those. You could, because they're a fourth or
they're more silver.
They're 90% silver.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what that's worth. Yeah. No matter what generation you live in, everyone's going to know what that silver quarter is worth. And right now they're worth $5, I think.
They're worth more than they were when they were made.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So now our other money, our real money, ain't worth
The paperwork's not worth
yeah,
much.
that paper dollar ain't worth nothing.
Yeah.
Unless you need some kindling to start a fire.
That's right. Well, that's what's coming, folks, and you need to be prepared.
Yeah. Of course, the most important thing is to be in the will of God.
Absolutely.
Be saved. Know that you be right with the Lord, because we're going to need to be on praying ground.
Amen. And why do we think we're the only generation of Christianity that should be exempt from any persecution or difficulties?
Yeah. And of course, we're seeing it now. We are seeing persecution
Yes.
now. We're not being burned at the stake yet.
And it's going to increase. And yes.
Because the divide in this country between good and evil has gotten so much stronger.
It is.
It used to be the lost people were pretty moral back in the 50s and 60s.
It's altogether changed.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. Evolution in our public school system has done its job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, the show that's coming up next, the next YouTube video will be the second TV show, the second YouTube about the UFOs, truth or fable. You need to figure out what you believe about that. And these are on the website. You can get it's only 24 pages. You can read this in one setting. This, if you're struggling with the UFO stuff, this will help you, I promise. Okay, and we still have the donation package up for the original God's Found Jubilee book. It's up for to help us with the donation. And don't forget, we're a viewer-supported program, and we're dependent upon you to partner with us financially to help keep us on television and radio. We're on over 45 stations on the radio across the country, and most of them are on Sunday, Doc. There's a few on weekdays, but almost every show is a Sunday program. I know, for instance, we're on Pittsburgh. 4 million listeners in that listening area.
In that one station.
Now, how many listen, I don't know, but that one station alone, there's capable of 4 million people in that area. And we're in Indianapolis as well. That's a big
I think there's one out in Arizona, isn't there?
There's one in Arizona. I don't remember the town, but there's one there. If you go to the website, you can click on the radio. It'll tell you every place we're on, what time we're on, and all that. And but they're also here on YouTube. So if you're watching YouTube, you probably don't need to bother. But we record all the radio also on YouTube. So, okay. Well, on that note, Doc, we'll get off of here, folks. Until next time, keep your eyes on them skies.